Hello. I am still going through my different list builds for bold action, and this time I'm going to talk about a list that I know pretty well myself because I play this one quite often. I apologize for the sound. There's wind in the trees today, but it's nice and sunny. The list I'm going to talk to you about today is the assault list. Now, assault and bold action is pretty binary. I mean, it can go horribly wrong very easily, so you have to stack the odds in your favor. But when it does go right, you will destroy an entire enemy unit, which I guess there's nothing else that can really have that effect yet. Maybe flamethrowers in houses or heavy howitzers. So it's pretty deadly when you make it work. Now, as usual, I'll go through the advantages, the disadvantages, how to play it, how to play against it, and what it is. So let's start with what it is. The assault type list, it comes in two flavors. It comes in the veteran flavor and the inexperienced flavor. I don't see many regular units being used in assault lists, not for the assaults themselves anyway. So the inexperienced one, that is a variant of the Horde army and can typically be done by the Japanese because they have Fanatic and they have Banzai, which means that they're inexperienced troops. Even though they might be inexperienced, even though they might be pinned down, they will still charge, right? This also means that for the Japanese, the bamboo spear fighters are the perfect unit to go along with in this type of list because it's very cheap. It can fight in close combat. It is Fanatic, and it doesn't need to shoot ever because why you haven't got anything to fire, right? So you don't need to worry about being pinned. You just need to worry about getting the bamboos up close to the enemy where they can banzai charge, right? What will happen typically is that you will lose a lot of bamboo spear fighters, but you don't care. They are dirt cheap, and you can just throw in the next unit. If you lose the close combat, you can throw in the next unit. You're not going to lose the close combat unless you're fighting like entrenched veterans or something that is really good in close combat, has tough fighter or something. Then you're going to win. And if you are going to fight entrenched veterans, well, you're at least going to hurt them, and they are way more expensive than you are, so that all still works out. The veteran version, there you need dedicated assault units. There are not many of those in the game, but there are some, and they are very, very good. What you're looking for is you're looking for a combination of special rules, basically. You need tough fighter, and you need either Fanatic, Stubborn, or some of the British special rules that are for the Gurkhas, Scary Blighters, or for the Maoris. If you have that combination of those rules, then you have a dedicated close combat unit that can really do work. Although you have to again remember that if you're going up against another dedicated close combat unit, it begins to get dicey again, right? So, the last element of any good close combat lists is the support. And if you're going with the inexperienced Horde, I would suggest looking at guns, loads of guns, and indirect fire guns. Because what you're going to experience quite often is that the inexperienced assaulters, they will move out in front of your army and you will not be able to shoot because of the proximity to your own troops. So you need something that can shoot even though your troops are in the way, which means that inexperienced indirect fire by heavy mortars, heavy howitzers, whatever you have, something that can fire indirectly. That is the fire support that you will need. You'll also need some anti-tank, because most inexperienced hordes don't deal well with tanks. They can't really hurt them that much. So that is also a thing, and luckily for the Japanese, they have the perfect tool for that: the suicide anti-tank bomber guys, right? They work well to deal with tanks. So that's how you build the inexperienced horde. For the veteran version, you're also going to need something to deal with tanks. This can be anti-tank grenades on your veteran units so that they can actually assault tanks out reliably. That can work. But I would suggest looking elsewhere. If you can find some like the tank armored car combo, where you have basically two tanks, both of them counting as tanks, with anti-tank guns. That seems to be the best way to go, because you're going to need to shake down the enemy armor. What you'll also need is you're going to need a reason for the enemy to split up, to deploy broadly. That's the best thing you can do. So multi-rocket launchers is a good buy for this type of list. Or maybe an artillery observer. That also works. And finally, for the veteran one, you'll need trucks. Inexperienced, the cheapest ones you can get. You'll need to have your infantry very, very mobile. So that's what you need. How to play it. If you're going with the inexperienced assaulters, then huck cover. Make sure that you conga line your troops so that they are constantly have some type of cover, and then move slowly forward towards the enemy. Don't rush it. Don't just throw bodies at him. Move slowly forward, making sure that you always have cover. If you are shot at by something that is scary, many shots coming at you from, I don't know, a tank or a large platoon of something, go down. Don't be afraid to do that, because he's wasting shots. Your inexperienced dudes are not worth it anyway. So, and then around turn 4-ish, you should be at a point where you can start throwing assaults at him. And then go all out. Throw everything at him at one go and win. And until turn 4, just fire indirectly. Make sure that he moves. Make sure that he spends all his shots not hitting. That works. Cool. If you're going with the veteran version of this, I would suggest that you deploy all your assaulters in one column of attack. Throw your tanks in on the opposite flank, or as an advance guard, or in the middle as sort of something to break up the enemy's formation, and then just throw your whole assault group in their trucks at one flank. And do so when they're pinned. This is why forward observers work really well with veteran assault unit armies, because they'll pin a large area of the enemy, and then you can assault it. So you move up, you get out. That's one turn, right? That's 12 inch, 12 inch. That's 24 inches you're moving up towards the enemy. If you can, before that, can move a little bit towards him without maybe giving away your intentions, that's good. But 24 inches, next turn, you charge. No matter what happens, you charge. You go at him and you start killing stuff. I guarantee you he will start panicking, because he will lose units very, very quickly. Of course, your assaulters will die as well, but that's their job. You win the game by what is left after your assaulters have done their job. What happens is that you're throwing like 40-60% of your army against 20-30 of his, and you will win. And that loss, he cannot sustain that loss. So you will start being head on dice, you will start being head on kill points, you will start having control of the board, and you win by that. So that's how to play it, how to play against it. Take down the transports if you can. If you're playing against a veteran assault player, take down the transports. Do that by going into ambush so that he can't move up. That's the most important thing. And don't get distracted by all the other stuff that he's trying to distract you with, because they are a distraction. It's only the assaulters that really matter. So, and if you're playing against the Japanese one, then ambush is your friend. You're going to need to make sure that those troops are whittled down before they arrive at you. So ambush them, shoot them as they move up, or at least prevent them from moving up, right? Because if you're in ambush and they have to move towards you, that makes it easier for you to just whittle down a few. Next turn, whittle down a few more. Of course, Finnish do this very well. So, yeah. The advantages and disadvantages of playing an assault army. Assault armies are very binary. You have to be really skilled to play them well. You can't just, any player can't just do this and expect good results. So that is one thing that's really a problem. If you're going with the inexperienced horde assaulters, then you're going to have to paint loads and loads of minis as well. So that doesn't really work out either. And it is rather like you're going to win big or you're going to lose big every single time. That's just the name of the game. Right. But if you are winning, you are going to win big, and you can almost table opponents using this type of lists because it's so aggressive. And that also plays into another benefit, right? Because if you are an aggressive player, if you have that bloodlust running, then this may be an army where that actually is a benefit and not a detriment. Cool. Cheers.